morning, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. We're looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day's support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Tuesday the 29th of December. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar, looking at the hourly candlesticks, bearish start to the morning here. Going to need to see Bitcoin avoid a fall through the pivot at 26,854 to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 27,641. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break through 27,500 levels. That was a resistance level yesterday. So barring an extended rally on, they expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, could see Bitcoin test resistance at 28,500 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 28,228. We also have a major resistance level at 28,244 on the trend analysis. A fall through the pivot level would bring the first major support level at 26,267 into play. Barring extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should avoid sub 26,000 levels. Second major support level sits at 25,481. Looking at the MACD, we've got a slight widening of the bearish histogram supporting this early pullback. We're also seeing the 50 EMA now marginally on the 100 and 200 also supporting the bearish start to the day. So key through the early part of the day would be to avoid a fall through the pivot and move through to 27,500 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels are in play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, it's given up its early gains this morning. Going to need to see Ethereum avoid a fall through the pivot at 719.2 to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 757.5. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break out from yesterday's high, a new swing high 747. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 760 to pin Ethereum back. In the event of another breakout, could see Ethereum test resistance at 790 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 785.3. Fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 691.40 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should steer well clear of the second major support level sitting at 653.10. Looking at the MACDs, got the bearish histograms there, nothing conclusive to suggest upside through the morning, so need to keep an eye on that. On the EMA, however, we are seeing the 50 pull away marginally from the 100 and the 200, supporting upside through the early part of the morning. So key through the early part of the day would be to avoid the pivot at 719.2 and move through to 750 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, the support levels will be in play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, it's bearish start to the morning here. Going to need to Ethereum move through the pivot at 130.96 to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 135.72. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Litecoin to break back through to 135 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 136.99 to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, got resistance at 145 that would likely come into play. Second major resistance level sits at 141.74. On the trend analysis, we've got the most recent high 139.3 that will also need to be tested for Litecoin to test that second major resistance level. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the first major support level at 124.94 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should avoid sub 120s. Second major support level at 120.18 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACD, we've got a widening of the bearish histogram supporting this early pullback. On the EMA, we're also seeing the 50 narrow in on the 100 and the 200, suggests a further downside ahead. So key through the early part of the day would be to move through the pivot at 130.96 and move back through to 135 levels. Failure to do that and support levels are in play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, Ripple's XRP's troubles continue this morning. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move through the pivot at 0.2634 to take a run at the first major resistance level, say 0.2935. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.29 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 0.30 to limit any upside on the day. In the event of a breakout through the morning and the rest of the day, got resistance at 0.32 that will likely come into play. Buying a broad-based crypto rally and a recovery by Ripple's XRP should see Ripple's XRP avoid the second major resistance level at 0.3395. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level today at 0.2174 into play. Barring another extended sell-off, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 0.20 levels. Second major support level sits at 0.1874. Looking at the MACD, widening of the bearish histogram suggests of a further downside ahead. On the EMA, also a pull away from the 100 and the 200, suggestive of further losses on the day. So failure to move through that pivot level will bring support levels into play.